There are lots of options for choosing a hard drive for your retro gaming PC. You can go with an older RDE hard drive, maybe you're into SCSI controllers and fast 10,000 RPM drives, others use adapters for compact flash or SD memory cards. You can also use SATA drives with PCI SATA controllers or SATA to RDE adapters. In this video I will show you another option, quite possibly the best retro hard drive. It is Seagate's solid-state hybrid drive, available in 1, 2 and 4 TB capacities. Note that the 4 TB version is slightly slower, spinning at only 5400 RPM. These solid-state hybrid drives are extremely fast because they use solid-state technology, but without needing trim compatibility, which means that these drives can be used in DOS, Windows 98 and XP without any issues and having to worry about the drives wearing out. Extremely cool is Seagate's C-Tools utility, which lets you configure the drive with any capacity you want. Need an 8GB drive for MS-DOS 6.22? Not a problem. Want a 120GB drive for Windows 98? Also not a problem. Building an XP machine and want the entire 2 TB? No problem at all. C-Tools is the software that lets you set the capacity of your drive. Download the ISO image from the Seagate website and burn it onto a disk. Over time I used C-Tools on all sorts of machines. It doesn't like all SATA controllers, best to use an Intel chipset. In this video I'm using an Intel 8605 chipset, but I use C-Tools also on newer machines from the Sandy Bridge and Ivory Bridge generation. There are 3 options to set capacities. You can turn it into a 32GB drive, enter a size manually, or disable the capacity limitation and go back to the full hard drive size. To enter a size manually, you need to enter the number of sectors. Using a bit of math gets the job done. However, I made a little spreadsheet that you can use and download, link below in the description. Just enter the desired capacity and it works out the number of sectors for you. Solid-state hybrid drives have 8GB of solid state on their hard drive. It stores most used information, such as frequently booting your machine, which will make it faster over time. I have a chart here from another video comparing boot times of the SSHD against traditional hard drives and a proper solid-state drive. After a few reboots, the SSHD is basically on the same level as a proper solid-state drive, but any new activity is as slow as a standard hard drive. All of this happens behind the scenes, which means the operating system doesn't have to be solid-state compatible. No need for trim support or using solid-state tools for maintenance. This makes it a great drive to get the benefits of SSD technology without having to worry about wearing the drive out. The drive also features smart align technology, keeping performance high even without aligning partitions to the new 4K format. But under Windows XP it's actually really easy to align the partitions, so I would still recommend doing that. Older machines often have a BIOS drive limitation. Here I put together a system around a gigabyte BX2000 motherboard with a slot 1 Pentium 3 and the latest BIOS. Although the BIOS picks up the drive just fine and detects the capacity correctly, the BIOS doesn't support 120GB drives, and we can see after the post it actually locks up the machine. To get around this, I just reconfigured the drive as a 32GB drive, and now everything works correctly and the machine proceeds to boot. Age is not an indicator for compatibility. I've got a much older board, a DFI motherboard for the Super Socket 7 platform, and that one has a compatible BIOS. I'm actually using a 120GB drive at the moment, got Windows 98 installed, and I'm using it with MS-DOS 7.1 to access a massive collection of DOS games. Out of the box, Windows 98 supports drives up to 120GB. The F-Disk and Format tool glitch out with such large drives, but it's purely cosmetic. Just continue with partitioning, formatting and installing Windows 98 and you end up with a 120GB drive inside Windows. Depending on the machine and the controller used, disk performance is excellent. Here we've got the ATTO result for the drive running Windows 98 on a fast Pentium 4 with an 865 chipset. Make sure that you do enable DMA mode for the maximum performance. On older machines that don't have SATA controllers, I use a SATA to RD adapter. They work especially well on fast Pentium 3 machines. Here the fast hard drives makes a noticeable difference compared to using a period correct hard drive. To demonstrate the compatibility with MS-DOS 6.22, I've reconfigured the drive with a capacity of 8GB. DOS 6.22 only supports 2GB partitions and a total of 4 of them. So using this 8GB drive, I partitioned the drive with 4 2GB partitions without any issues. Unfortunately, the drive together with the SATA to RD adapter doesn't work on my 386. I believe what's happening is that the BIOS must support LBA in order to talk to the SATA to RD adapter, but maybe it's just the 386 not being compatible. If anyone out there has tried a SATA to RD adapter on a 386, please share your experiences down below. I would really like to know if you had more luck than I did. And there you have it. The Seagate SSHD offers extremely fast storage using solid-state technology and compatibility with older operating systems. Using cTools, you can set the capacity to whatever you like, making the drive compatible with older BIOS and operating systems that have capacity limitations. Using SATA to RD adapters, you can use this drive in older machines as well, but it has its limitations. My 386 machine would not work with the SATA to RD adapter, unfortunately. Maybe using dynamic drive overlay software gets around this. I might have to revisit this topic in another video. And that's it for this video. I hope you found it interesting and I will see you soon again on Phil's Computer Lab.